Alrighty, so here is the body, and I'm going to shift copy it over, and I'm going to say Fred arm upper capital R for right, and say OK. I'll go ahead and rotate that 180 degrees, and I'm going to change the parameters of it. Okay, so if his shoulders were 0.5, I think I'll make his arms like 0.35. That should be all right. And the length, I'll bring those down to about maybe 2 feet. Okay, that's looking good. And that pivot, I think I want the pivot up here. So once again, I'm going to go to Effect Pivot Only. I'm going to move that up right to that line. See, right there. And let's see here. I'm also going to take a look on the rotate and make sure that everything is 0, 0. You see, right now it's at 180 and I don't want that. So zero that out. Okay, my pivot is set up perfectly now. Move that over here to the shoulder and put it right about, right in the center somewhere, right about there, something like that. Maybe I'll make that arm just a little bit thinner. Let's see, so we had it at 0.3, was it? Okay, well now it's at 0.3. Oh, that's better. Okay, and that upper arm, that needs to go into the shoulder. So move that into the shoulder. See, we're setting up that chain right there, that dependent chain. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and hold down our Shift key, Shift copy, and we'll make the Fred arm lower. Right, and say OK. That's looking pretty good. Now we've got to attach that lower to the upper. Let me show you why. Okay, so let's go to the left, and we can see that if I have the pelvis selected, then it's going to move the whole body. If I have the body selected, here, let me go to the rotate, then it's not going to move the pelvis, but it is going to move the shoulders and the arms because they are attached to it. If I move the shoulders, that's not going to move the body, but it will move the arms. If I move the upper arm, well, it's not going to move anything except itself because the lower arm is not attached to it. You can see. So let's attach the lower arm to it. And now you'll see, when I move that upper arm, it moves the lower arm as well. Okay, let's continue on. So I'm going to make the hand next, and I think I'm going to do things just a little bit different. I'm going to take, and I'm going to Shift copy it. That's normal. But I want to change it a little bit. Okay, let's just put Fred hand right and say OK. And we can even put that into here while we're thinking about it. See that nice chain? We'll make it about, let's say 1.5 feet, so much shorter. And now we want to make it thinner. If I just use my tool here to just sort of crush it like that, the problem is that when I bend it, it will distort. So what we have to do is we have to change it on a more systemic level. Okay, how do I do that? Right now it's just a primitive object. So I'm going to change it to an editable object, as you're familiar with. And I'm going to go one more and select the whole object like that, selecting the element. Now, when I crush it down, that has changed it. Before, remember with this, it was just a percentage. It was whatever percentage of your parametric or your parameters were. Now it is changing it systemically. It is what it is. It is 100% of that crush. And so it won't distort when I try and move it. Okay. And go back to our top level and shift copy one more time to make the thumb. So I'm going to hold down the shift. There it is. And we'll have thumb right. We're not going to make a complicated hand for this. If you want to on your own time when you're customizing your things, sure, go for it. But for this, not so much. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go to our left view, and I'm going to rotate that and move it over a little bit. And I'm going to select it all. And make it a little bit smaller this way. Make it fit in this way. Okay, not bad. Now we have a thumb. Alrighty. And put it in there. Okay, that's all looking pretty good so far. Let's see, where's our pivot? I think we need to move our pivot though. Because if I rotate this thumb, let's see what happens. Oh yeah, that's kind of weird, huh? So back here to our pivot, affect pivot, and move it. And we're just going to move it right into there. And I'm going to make sure that this is zeroed out. Actually, 90 degrees might have been all right for that one, but we'll see. Okay, so that's all good. Yeah. And let's look at the hand. The pivot on the hand looks like it's okay too. Good. Good, good, good. Now, there's another special thing that we can do. Let's take a look at that. So, but first let's connect that thumb. There it is. Nice chain. Okay, we're going to go to the front again. And all the things so far are just rotating on a pivot. The hand, I think, we'll treat just a little bit different and show you something new. So here I've got the hand selected. And in the Modify tab, I'm going to put a modifier on it. So go to my modifier list. And one of the first ones is the bend modifier. So I've got the bend modifier. And you'll see that now I can just bend it to close the hand. The unfortunate thing is that the thumb doesn't follow it. But, we'll have to mess with it a little bit during animation. That's okay. Thumb, we could do the same to that. We'll go ahead and put a bend modifier on there too, so that way it can grip things if it needs to hold something. Whatever. Okay, all good. That is all good. So now, since we've made this whole right arm, it's kind of easy. We can just select it all and move it over to the left. Holding down the Shift key, right on over. And just say, okay, it's not changed. They're all got this funny little double 0, 1 after the R. We'll just change those individually. That'll be all right. Oh, come on now. There we go. So left and left, left, and left. Now, hopefully you noticed that when I close these chain up, that when I copied it, it stayed on the same level as the right arm. And that's kind of nice. And you can see they're both attached to the shoulders. Little test right here. We'll go to the right. And we can see that's all working just fine.